Good afternoon. Life is filled with warnings. Some are loud, others are quiet, but all are important. These warnings, if heeded, will guide us away from harm and toward our true purpose. There are moments in our lives when we encounter a voice, a feeling, a sign that says, if you hear this, run. And today I want to talk to you about those moments and why running is not only necessary, but vital. You see, the first key to surviving the dangers of life is awareness. We must be aware of the signals that life gives us. These signals come in many forms: a whisper in the heart, a sudden pause in your thoughts, or an unsettling feeling in your spirit. Awareness is the first step towards safety. If we ignore it, we put ourselves at risk. Then there's the voice inside you, the one that we often call intuition. It's not a loud voice, but it's one that speaks truth into your heart. The question is, do you trust it? Do you trust the inner compass that can guide you away from paths that will lead to destruction? Too often we ignore that voice, convincing ourselves that what we hear is just fear or insecurity. But that voice is a gift, a divine warning system. But here's the truth. External voices will try to drown it out. People will tell you that it's okay to settle, that you should compromise, or that you need to accept things as they are. Sometimes these voices are seductive, promising comfort, but they always lead you further from your purpose. And if you're not careful, you may find yourself stuck in situations that rob you of your vitality, your peace, and your progress. Recognizing the signs of trouble is critical. Whether it's a toxic relationship, a fleeting opportunity, or an unhealthy environment, when you see these things, you must have the courage to walk away. If you hear the call of those negative influences, the answer is simple. Run. Not because you're scared, but because you have a higher calling and refuse to let anything block your path. Running isn't about weakness, it's about strength. It's about the courage to remove yourself from what would hold you back. It's the realization that you are worth more than the chains that try to bind you. Running is an act of freedom. It's a statement that you will not allow anything or anyone to rob you of your potential. And above all, remember, your purpose is sacred. It is the reason you were created. Protect it, guard it. Don't allow yourself to be distracted or misled by the things that look good but aren't good for you. If you hear the wrong things, if you find yourself in situations that drain you, if the path ahead is clouded with negativity, then you must have the courage to run. There will be times in life when staying is more dangerous than leaving. The temptation to settle, to stay in what is comfortable or familiar is strong, but it is also deceptive. Settling in a place that no longer serves you is a disservice to the future that is waiting for you. Don't let fear of the unknown hold you back. Run. Life gives us choices. We can choose to stay or we can choose to go. And when you hear the call, when you sense that your purpose is in danger, choose to run. Run toward your destiny. Run toward your freedom. Run toward the life you were meant to live. So, my friends, the next time you hear that voice, the next time you see the signs, don't hesitate. Run. Run. Because you have a destiny to fulfill and you are not meant to be held back. Life has a way of speaking to us, often in ways we don't expect or fully understand. There are moments when something deep within us warns us, or even when the circumstances around us start to shift in ways that don't quite feel right. It's in those moments that we are given a choice: to ignore the signs or to listen carefully and act accordingly. These warnings, sometimes subtle, sometimes loud and urgent, are not meant to frighten us, but to guide us. They are there to help us avoid danger, harm, and distractions that can pull us away from our true path. If we are not paying attention, if we fail to tune in to the signals life is sending our way, we risk stepping into situations that are not meant for us, environments that may stifle our growth, or relationships that may drain our spirit. The warning may come in the form of a feeling, a sudden unease in your chest, or a thought that keeps coming back to you, urging you to move in a different direction. Sometimes it's a voice within, whispering to you, and other times it's a loud and undeniable message coming from the world around you. It could be a series of events that line up, telling you that you're not on the right path, or it could be that instinctive nudge that tells you it's time to walk away from something that no longer serves you. Whatever form it takes, it's important to recognize that life is always communicating with us, offering us opportunities to protect our peace and our purpose. But too often we ignore these warnings. We brush them off as fears or insecurities, or we convince ourselves that it's easier to stay in a situation than to face the unknown. We may feel the pressure to stay in toxic environments, to remain in unhealthy relationships, or to continue down paths that we know aren't right for us, simply because they are familiar. But here's the reality. The voice inside you, the quiet whisper of warning, is not something to be dismissed. It is your guide, your protector, and when you hear it, it's there for a reason. Sometimes life will speak to you with urgency and clarity, telling you that you need to move, that you need to make a change. And when that moment comes, when you hear that warning loud and clear, it's time to listen. It's time to make a decision, and that decision might just be to run. Awareness is one of the most powerful tools we can possess in life. Without it, we become like passengers on a journey, unaware of the road we're traveling, the choices we're making, and the signs that are meant to guide us. When we lack awareness, we lose touch with ourselves, our values, and the direction that is meant for us. Awareness, on the other hand, is the key to navigating life with purpose and clarity. It allows us to see beyond the surface and to recognize what truly matters. It opens our eyes to the opportunities and challenges around us. And more importantly, it enables us to listen to the whispers of wisdom that guide us along the way. Being aware means being in tune with what's happening within us and around us. It's not just about being alert to the world's distractions, but understanding how these distractions align or misalign with our purpose. When we are aware, we can discern when something doesn't feel right, when an opportunity might not be in our best interest, or when the people we're surrounded by are pulling us away from the life we're meant to live. Now, it's like having an internal compass that guides you, helping you to recognize what to embrace and what to avoid. Awareness also helps us recognize our own fears, insecurities, and tendencies to stay in situations that are familiar but ultimately detrimental to our growth. It helps us see where we might be compromising or settling for less than we deserve, often without even realizing it. Many times the path that seems easiest is the one that traps us. And it's only through awareness that we can see the potential dangers lurking beneath what appears to be comfortable. This awareness allows us to rise above fear and uncertainty and make the decisions that are aligned with our higher purpose. When you are truly aware, you don't just react to life, you respond with intention. You begin to make choices that reflect your true desires and your deeper values. instead of just going along with the flow. Awareness gives you the strength to step back and evaluate the situations and relationships you're involved in, rather than just accepting them because they've always been there. It enables you to assess whether they are adding value to your life or keeping you stuck in patterns that don't serve you. Awareness is a form of protection. It's a shield that helps us recognize potential harm before it affects us. It's the voice inside that says, this doesn't feel right, or this is not the direction you should be going. Without awareness, we can easily fall into traps, get lost in distractions, and waste time on things that don't matter. But when we are awake to what's going on, we can make better choices, avoid unnecessary risks, and preserve our energy and focus for what truly matters. Now, awareness doesn't just protect you from harm, it empowers you to step into your purpose with clarity and confidence. The voice of the inner compass is often soft, subtle, and easy to overlook, but it is one of the most powerful forces guiding us in life. It's that quiet whisper in the back of your mind, or that deep feeling in your heart that says, this is the right direction, or this isn't for you. It is the part of you that knows what is truly in alignment with your purpose, even when everything around you might seem to be pointing in a different direction. This voice isn't influenced by external pressures, trends, or the opinions of others. It is rooted in your own truth. It's an internal guidance system, a divine knowing that helps you discern the best course of action when the world is full of noise and distractions. At times, this voice may feel uncertain, especially when faced with tough decisions or moments of great change. It may not always make logical sense, and that's why many people ignore it. They question it, dismiss it, or even silence it because it feels uncomfortable or risky. But the truth is, that inner voice is not guided by fear. It is the source of your authentic power. When you learn to trust it, you tap into a well of wisdom that goes beyond what you can see with your eyes or understand with your mind. This voice knows your potential, knows what you are capable of, and it will always lead you toward the growth and fulfillment you're meant to experience. One of the greatest challenges is learning how to listen to this voice. It's not something that can be forced or rushed. It often speaks during quiet moments of reflection, during times of stillness, or in the midst of uncertainty. It's a voice that emerges when you create space for it, when you pause long enough to listen deeply and trust that what you hear is the truth. The more you listen to it, the clearer it becomes. Over time, this inner compass becomes stronger, louder, and more confident, guiding you with increasing clarity and precision. The power of this voice is that it doesn't just guide you toward what's safe or comfortable, it guides you toward your greatest potential. It is not concerned with instant gratification or easy outcomes. It's concerned with your long-term growth, your well-being, and your purpose. Often, the voice of your inner compass will direct you to take a risk, make a tough choice, or walk away from something that no longer serves you. And while those decisions may seem difficult in the moment, they are often the very decisions that will lead to the breakthroughs you need to step into the next phase of your journey. Many people, however, find it hard to trust this inner compass because it often goes against what is familiar or expected. Society, family, or even friends may offer advice that conflicts with what your heart knows is right. But the beauty of the inner voice is that it is not swayed by external validation. It is your truth. And when you listen to it, you honor who you truly are and what you are truly capable of. That leads you to places where you can grow, places where you can thrive, and places where you can discover your fullest potential. Listening to the voice of your inner compass takes courage. It requires you to step into uncertainty, to trust something you can't always see or measure. But when you trust it, you empower yourself to move through life with a sense of purpose and clarity, even in the face of obstacles. The voice inside you is not just a guide. It is the part of you that reflects the best version of who you are meant to become. It's there to show you what's possible, to reveal your path, and to ensure that you don't get lost in the noise of the world. When you learn to trust and follow it, you begin to unlock the life you were always meant to live. External influences are everywhere, constantly shaping and molding the way we think, act, and perceive the world around us. From the people we interact with daily to the media we consume and the societal norms we're taught to uphold, these influences have the power to either empower us or lead us astray. At every turn, we're bombarded with messages about what success should look like, what relationships should feel like, and how our lives should unfold. The problem is that many of these messages are not aligned with who we truly are or what we were created to be. They are the voices of the world, not the voices of our hearts or our deeper purpose. As we navigate life, we often find ourselves under the pressure of these external voices, whether it's the expectations of family, the standards set by society, or the comparisons we make with others. These voices tell us to follow certain paths because they promise security or approval, and so often we are pulled into them, thinking that they are the right way to go. But we have to ask ourselves, are these paths truly in alignment with our deepest values, or are they simply what others have prescribed for us? The truth is, the more we allow external influences to dominate our decisions, the more we risk losing sight of our own desires and purpose. People, too, have a significant influence on our choices. While they may mean well, not every person who enters our lives is aligned with our journey. Some may encourage us to stay in unhealthy situations, to remain in jobs that drain us, or to be content with a life that doesn't inspire us. These influences can be toxic. And it's crucial to recognize when someone is pulling us away from our truth. While we all need support and guidance, we must be discerning about whose advice we follow and whose opinions we allow to shape our decisions. Not every relationship is one that will lift us up. Some people, intentionally or unintentionally, try to box us into limited visions of who we can be, sometimes out of their own fears or insecurities, saying, oh. The media is another powerful external force. It bombards us with images of what our lives should look like, the ideal body, the perfect career, the ideal relationship, the list goes on. These representations are often distorted, unachievable, or unrealistic, yet we internalize them, believing they define success. We start measuring our worth based on standards that have nothing to do with who we are or the life we're meant to lead. The more we compare ourselves to the lives of others, especially the curated, often filtered versions we see online, the further we stray from our own authentic self. External influences shape the narrative of what is normal, what is acceptable, and what is successful. But we must learn to question those narratives and rewrite them for ourselves. At its core, the issue with external influences is that they often cloud our judgment. They create noise that drowns out the clarity of our own inner voice. When we allow ourselves to be swept along by the tides of others' expectations, we risk losing our sense of direction and purpose. We start living according to someone else's timeline. In doing so, we rob ourselves of the freedom to create our own unique path. A path that is rich with meaning and aligned with our deepest desires. The real challenge is not just recognizing these influences, but learning how to protect ourselves from them. We need the wisdom to know when to tune out the voices that try to pull us in different directions, and the courage to say no when something doesn't feel right. This requires strength and conviction, the strength to stand firm in the face of pressure, and the conviction to honor our truth above all else. When we can do this, we regain control over our own narrative, and we allow ourselves to walk a path that is truly ours. It's not about rejecting all external input, but about discerning what aligns with our true purpose and what will only lead us away from it. In a world full of noise, the ability to listen to what's authentic to us is not only a gift, it's essential to living a fulfilled and purposeful life. Recognizing the signs of trouble often requires a sharp sense of awareness and an honest reflection of where we are in life. Trouble doesn't always announce itself in an obvious way. Sometimes it creeps in slowly, wearing a mask of normalcy, or even opportunity, making it harder to spot until it's too late. At other times, it appears the way trouble has a way of showing up in ways we can learn to recognize if we are paying close enough attention. The problem is that more often than not, we ignore these signs. It's either because we're too busy, too afraid, or too comfortable to see them for what they truly are. One of the first signs of trouble is when we feel a sense of discomfort or unease in our hearts. This could show up as a nagging feeling, an inner knowing that something isn't quite right, even if we can't pinpoint what it is. It's a deep sense of dissonance between what we're experiencing and what we know is true or right for us. This feeling can manifest as anxiety, tension, or even physical discomfort, but it's the mind and heart's way of telling us that the situation is not aligned with our highest good. When we experience these feelings, we must pause and reflect. Is it our own fear or insecurity that's triggering this discomfort? Or is it an authentic sign that something is off? Learning to distinguish between these two is critical, but either way, it's an indication that we need to be alert and examine the situation more closely. Another sign of trouble comes when we notice patterns emerging that we can no longer ignore. These patterns often show up in our relationships, our work, or our habits. Maybe it's a cycle of toxicity in a relationship that seems to repeat itself no matter how hard we try to fix it. Perhaps it's a consistent feeling of burnout or dissatisfaction at work, despite efforts to push through. Trouble often arrives in the form of patterns, repetitive behaviors, ongoing conflicts, or recurring feelings of frustration or sadness that we can no longer brush aside. When we see these patterns, they should not be seen as isolated events, but as indicators that something deeper needs to change. Patterns often tell us that there's something fundamentally wrong that needs to be addressed, whether it's a situation, a behavior, or a mindset. We also need to be aware of how others treat us and how we allow ourselves to be treated. People who consistently undermine, belittle, or drain us are often signs of trouble in our lives. If you find yourself surrounded by people who constantly sow negativity, feed on your energy, or make you question your worth, these are powerful red flags. The way others treat us is often a reflection of the environment we allow ourselves to be in. And when that environment is toxic, it wears on us mentally, emotionally, and even physically. Relationships, whether personal or professional, should uplift us and help us grow. When that is no longer the case, it's a signal that trouble is present. And it's time to evaluate whether this relationship is truly serving us or whether it's pulling us down. Trouble often shows itself in the form of stagnation. When we feel stuck, when we no longer grow, when everything around us seems to be moving forward except for us, that is a sign that something is wrong. Stagnation can manifest in many ways. Lack of inspiration, a sense of being trapped in the same place with no progress, or a growing resentment toward the life we're living. When we are no longer evolving, when we are not stepping into new challenges or opportunities, it's a clear indicator that we've allowed ourselves to stay too long in a place that doesn't push us forward. The discomfort of stagnation is often the universe's way of urging us to take action and make a change. Even physical symptoms can be signs of deeper trouble. When we are emotionally and mentally drained, it often manifests in physical fatigue, headaches, insomnia, or even illness. Our bodies are not just vessels. They are deeply connected to our emotional and mental states. If you find yourself constantly fatigued or dealing with unexplained ailments, it may not just be about a lack of rest. It could be a sign that something in your life is out of balance. Whether it's an unhealthy relationship, a toxic work environment, or unresolved emotional baggage. These physical signs are the body's way of asking for attention. Recognizing the signs of trouble comes down to being in tune with yourself, your surroundings, and your feelings. It's about being able to listen to that inner voice, noticing the red flags and having the courage to act on them. Trouble doesn't always come with dramatic explosions or obvious warning signs. Sometimes it's the quiet, subtle shifts that are the most telling. If we learn to pay attention to those small signs, if we learn to trust our instincts and take action early, we can often avoid bigger problems down the road. It's about cultivating the awareness to recognize when something isn't right and having the wisdom to step away or make the necessary changes before things spiral further. The ability to recognize trouble early is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves, as it empowers us to stay true to our path and continue moving toward a future that aligns with our highest good. Running isn't often seen as a powerful action. We tend to think of it as an act of retreat or avoidance, something done out of fear or weakness. But the truth is, running can be one of the most courageous, empowering decisions you can make in life. It's not about fleeing from challenges or abandoning your responsibilities, but about making a deliberate choice to protect yourself, your peace, and your purpose. Running in this sense is an act of strength, an acknowledgement that you are in charge of your own life and will not allow anything to steal your future or your potential. There are moments in life when staying in a situation is far more dangerous than leaving. Sometimes we get stuck in relationships, jobs, or environments that are not only unfulfilling, but are actively harmful to our growth. We might stay because we're afraid of the unknown, because we feel obligated, or because we don't know where else to go. But staying in toxic situations often means staying in a cycle that keeps us from evolving, from becoming the person we were meant to be, and that's where running becomes an act of liberation. Running is not an admission of failure. It is a recognition of what no longer serves you. It is a conscious choice to remove yourself from situations that diminish your value, your energy, or your sense of self. When you run, you declare that you will not settle for less than what you are capable of. You are refusing to remain in places where you cannot grow or thrive. You are refusing to remain in places where you cannot grow or thrive. It's the ultimate form of self-respect, the understanding that your life is too precious to waste on environments or people that hold you back. When we think about running in this way, it becomes clear that it's not about fear or weakness. It's about power. The power to choose your own path. The power to say no when something is not aligned with your highest good. Running gives you the ability to take control of your circumstances. Even when everything around you seems uncertain or chaotic. It's about making the decision that your future is worth more than clinging to the comfort of familiarity or the false sense of security that comes from staying stuck. This power of running is rooted in the understanding that not all battles are worth fighting. Sometimes the wisest choice is not to stay and try to change the situation, but to remove yourself from it entirely. The act of running in this context is a way of preserving your energy and focus for the things that truly matter, the things that align with your purpose, your passions, and your values. There is great wisdom in knowing when it's time to walk away. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you are prioritizing your own well-being and giving yourself the space to heal and grow. Running can be an act of freedom. It's about releasing the ties that bind you to the past or to a version of yourself that no longer fits. Life is constantly evolving, and sometimes that means stepping away from situations that no longer match who you are becoming. The courage to run is the courage to leave behind what is holding you back and to move forward into something greater, something that truly serves your purpose. It's an act of trust in yourself and in the belief that there is always a path forward, even when the way seems unclear. When you run, you also reclaim your peace. There are certain situations and people who create chaos, confusion, and stress in our lives. They drain us mentally, emotionally, and physically. These are the things that pull us away from the stillness we need to think clearly, to make sound decisions, and to live with intention. Running allows you to remove yourself from the noise and to find the calm you need to reconnect with your inner voice. It gives you the space to reflect, to reset, and to realign with your true purpose. Running requires trust in the unknown. It's easy to stay in familiar but unfulfilling circumstances because they feel safe. We know what to expect, even if it's not ideal. But the power of running comes when we trust that what's waiting for us on the other side of our discomfort will be worth it. When we make the decision to move, to step away from something that no longer serves us, we are trusting in the possibility of something better. We are choosing faith over fear, growth over stagnation, and freedom over limitation. The beauty of running is that it's not a one-time decision, but an ongoing practice. As we move through life, we encounter situations, people, and opportunities that challenge us. And sometimes the best way to stay true to ourselves is to walk away, to step back, and to give ourselves the space to grow. Running in these moments doesn't mean we're running from life. It means we're running toward the best version of ourselves. It's a declaration that we will not be held back, we will not be diminished, and we will not be stuck in places that do not honor our worth. When we learn to run from what harms us, we create the freedom to run toward what fulfills us. This is the true power of running, the ability to choose what we allow into our lives, to stand firm in our truth, and to trust that each step we take away from what doesn't serve us brings us closer to the life we were always meant to live. Protecting your purpose is perhaps one of the most crucial responsibilities you will ever have in life. It's not a passive task. It requires intentionality, vigilance, and sometimes even sacrifice. Your purpose is the very essence of who you are. what you were created for, the unique path you are meant to walk, and the impact you are meant to walk. It is the guiding force behind every decision, action, and relationship you encounter, and it shapes the legacy you leave behind. But if you aren't actively protecting it, if you allow the distractions, the doubts, and the external pressures to cloud your focus, you risk losing sight of it altogether. The world is full of noise, opinions, expectations, and demands that try to steer you off course. People will tell you what they think you should be doing, what they believe will make you successful, and what path they think you should take. Society bombards you with its ideals of success, telling you what's important and what's not. The problem is that many of these external influences are not aligned with your true purpose. They're simply distractions that pull you in directions that may seem appealing on the surface, but don't resonate with who you really are. Protecting your purpose means learning how to tune out this noise, how to resist the pressure to conform, and how to stay true to your unique calling, even when everything around you seems to suggest otherwise. One of the biggest threats to your purpose is the temptation to follow the crowd or to settle for something less than what you are truly capable of. It's easy to get caught up in the expectations of others or in the rush to achieve success based on someone else's definition. But when you do this, you allow your purpose to be hijacked by someone else's vision of what your life should be. Protecting your purpose means refusing to allow anyone, including yourself, to dilute your vision. It means knowing that the path you are meant to walk will not always be the easiest, the most popular, or the one that offers immediate rewards. But it will be the one that brings you the most fulfillment, the one that aligns with your deepest desires, and the one that will bring you peace in the long run. Another critical aspect of protecting your purpose is guarding your time and energy. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have, and once it's gone, we can never get it back. Yet many of us spend our time on things and people that drain us, leaving us with little energy or focus to pursue what truly matters. Protecting your purpose means setting boundaries around how you spend your time. It means saying no to commitments that don't align with your vision, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. It means choosing where to invest your energy carefully, giving it only to those things that contribute to your growth and help you move closer to your goals. You cannot afford to spread yourself thin, chasing every opportunity or trying to please everyone. To protect your purpose, you must prioritize what truly matters and let go of everything that holds you back from realizing your potential. Part of protecting your purpose also means protecting your peace of mind. Life will always present challenges, setbacks, and obstacles. And there will be moments when the world feels chaotic or out of control. In these moments, it's easy to lose sight of your purpose, especially when external circumstances begin to dictate how you feel and think. Protecting your purpose requires you to maintain a strong sense of inner peace, being grounded in who you are, even when things around you are falling apart. This inner peace comes from knowing that your purpose is not defined by your circumstances, but by something deeper. When you are anchored in your purpose, you can weather any storm and remain focused on the bigger picture, even in the midst of adversity. Sometimes protecting your purpose means letting go of certain relationships or environments that are holding you back. Not all relationships are meant to last, and not all environments are conducive to your growth. Some people, whether consciously or unconsciously, will try to keep you small, to limit your potential, or to distract you from your purpose. They may not do it out of malice, but because of their own fears, insecurities, or desires to keep things as they are. It's important to recognize these relationships for what they are, and, if necessary, Distance yourself from them. Protecting your purpose means having the courage to walk away from people or situations that do not support your vision for your life, no matter how difficult it may be. Protecting your purpose requires you to have a clear sense of self-awareness and self-discipline. Without self-awareness, you risk drifting through life without direction, allowing external forces to dictate your choices. But when you are self-awareness, you can identify when you're out of alignment with your purpose and take the necessary steps to course correct. Self-discipline is just as important because the pursuit of your purpose will not always be easy or straightforward. There will be times when you have to push through obstacles, stay focused when distractions arise, and make decisions that are uncomfortable but necessary for your growth. Protecting your purpose means showing up for yourself, even when it's hard, and being disciplined enough to stay on the path when everything else seems to be pulling you in a different direction. Protecting your purpose is about continually nurturing it. Your purpose isn't something that you simply find once and forget about. It's something that needs to be nurtured, cultivated, and refined over time. It's a living, breathing force within you that evolves as you grow. To protect it, you must feed it with positive thoughts, inspiring experiences, and meaningful connections. Surround yourself with people who support your vision. Engage in activities that align with your goals, and constantly remind yourself of why you do what you do. Protecting your purpose means keeping the fire alive and allowing it to burn brightly no matter the challenges you face. In the end, protect your purpose is about choosing yourself and your path every single day. It's about making decisions that align with who you are and who you are becoming. It's about being courageous enough to say no doesn't serve you and yes to what will propel you forward. The more you protect your purpose, the clearer your direction becomes. And the more powerfully you are able to step into the life you were always meant to lead. The danger of settling is one of the greatest traps that people fall into, often without even realizing it. Settling occurs when you accept a life that is far less than what you deserve out of fear, complacency, or the belief that what you have is all that's possible. It's the quiet resignation to mediocrity, where you stop striving for more because you've convinced yourself that this is as good as it gets. In these moments, you relinquish your dreams, your potential, and your purpose. Settling may seem harmless at first, comfortable even, but it has a way of eroding your sense of self-worth and robbing you of the joy and fulfillment that life can offer. When you settle, you give up the opportunity to fully experience life as it was meant to be. The problem with settling is that it doesn't just affect your external circumstances. It slowly chips away at your internal world as well. The dissatisfaction you feel deep down, that sense of yearning for something more, is a reflection of your higher self, calling you to step up, to rise, to pursue a life that aligns with your deepest desires. But when you settle, you ignore that call. You push it aside, telling yourself that you should be grateful for what you have or that you don't deserve anything better. Over time, that inner longing becomes a whisper, then a murmur, and eventually it fades into silence. And in that silence, you lose touch with your true potential. Settling also limits your growth. Life is meant to be a journey of continuous expansion, of pushing past your comfort zone and exploring new horizons. But when you settle, you stop growing, you stop challenging yourself, you stop reaching for new heights and instead remain in a place that feels safe but stagnant. Growth only happens when you push yourself beyond your current limits, when you step into the unknown with the faith that you are capable of more than you realize. Settling robs you of this opportunity. It anchors you to a life that is comfortable, yes, but also unfulfilling. You may avoid the discomfort of change, but you also forfeit the richness of new experiences and the personal evolution that comes from stepping into the unknown. Another danger of settling is that it creates a sense of regret. There is nothing more painful than looking back on your life and realizing that you've spent years, maybe even decades, living a life that wasn't truly yours. When you settle, you risk waking up one day with a haunting thought that you could have done more, been more, experienced more. That regret comes not from failure, but from the knowledge that you never gave yourself the chance to try. It's not the mistakes that hurt, but the missed opportunities, the dreams left behind, and the potential that was never realized. Settling often leads to the belief that you missed out on something better, something that could have filled your life with more meaning, more joy, and more fulfillment. The danger of settling also lies in the impact it has on the people around you. When you choose to settle, you send a message to others, especially those you love and care for, that it's okay to live a life that is less than what they're capable of. It's not just about your own dreams being put on hold, it's about the example you set for others. If you teach those around you to accept mediocrity, you inadvertently limit their potential as well. People, whether your children, your friends, or your colleagues, are watching how you live. If you settle for less, they might think that's all they deserve too. When you choose to pursue your own greatness, you inspire others to do the same. But when you settle, you teach them that settling is acceptable, and that in itself, settling can also cause you to disconnect from your deeper purpose. Your purpose is what drives you, what gives your life meaning and direction. It is the guiding force behind your actions, your choices, and your dreams. But when you settle, you disconnect from that purpose. You may begin to live a life that is driven by external pressures or fleeting desires, rather than by the powerful calling of your own heart. Settling often means living according to what others expect of you, or according to societal norms, rather than aligning with the deep desires and passions that reside within you. When you settle, you abandon the possibility of living a life of purpose, one that is truly meaningful and fulfilling, in exchange for a life of mere existence. One of the most dangerous aspects of settling is that it is often disguised as contentment or practicality. Society often encourages us to be practical, to accept what we have and to make do with what's available. There's an inherent pressure to conform to the idea that we should be satisfied with what's in front of us, that we should be grateful for the things that are good enough. But settling is not the same as contentment. Contentment is the peace that comes from being truly aligned with who you are, where you are, and what you are doing. Settling, on the other hand, is the resignation to a life that feels smaller than what you are capable of. It's settling for a job you don't love, a relationship that doesn't fulfill you, or a life that doesn't light you up with passion and excitement. While practicality can sometimes be necessary, it should never come at the cost of your dreams or your potential. The danger of settling is that it can become a habit. The more you settle, the easier it becomes to continue settling. You start to believe that this is all there is, that this is all you deserve, and that anything beyond this is too much to ask for. But life is about so much more than just getting by. It's about living fully, about stepping into your power, and about pursuing your dreams with a conviction that you are capable of achieving them. Settling is a choice, and every time you make it, you move further away from the life you were meant to live. But the good news is that choosing not to settle is also a choice. Every day, you have the opportunity to step into a life that aligns with your true potential, to refuse to accept less than you deserve, and to go after what sets your soul on fire. Don't settle for anything less than the fullness of who you are meant to be. The power of choice is one of the most profound gifts we possess, yet it is also one of the most easily overlooked. From the moment we wake up in the morning until we close our eyes at night, we are continuously making choices. Every decision, no matter how small, shapes the trajectory of our lives. And yet so often we take this power for granted, acting as though we are simply drifting through life, subject to the circumstances around us. But the truth is, we have the power to decide how we respond to everything that comes our way. We are not victims of fate. We are active participants in the creation of our own reality. The power of choice lies in the freedom to determine what kind of life we want to lead. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that life happens to us, feeling as though we are victims of our past, our circumstances, or the people around us. But when we recognize that we always have a choice, we open up the possibility of shaping our destiny. Whether it's the way we respond to challenges, the goals we set for ourselves, or the people we choose to surround ourselves with, every decision we make is an opportunity to either reinforce or redefine the path we are on. By choosing consciously, we can step out of the cycle of automatic reactions and begin to live with intention, aligning our actions with our deepest desires and values. One of the greatest misconceptions about choice is that it's only about big, life-altering decisions. While choices like career moves, relationships, or major life changes certainly carry weight, it's often the small, everyday decisions that accumulate over time and truly define our lives. The decision to get up early and invest in our growth, the decision to speak kindly to ourselves or others, the decision to say no to things that drain us. All of these seemingly small choices have a compounding effect on who we become and the life we create. In fact, it is in the moments when we feel like we don't have a choice that we often hold the greatest power. When faced with difficulty, uncertainty, or adversity, we can choose how we respond. We can choose resilience over resignation, hope over despair, growth over stagnation. These small decisions, when made consistently, become the foundation of a life well lived. The power of choice also means embracing responsibility. When we accept that we are the ones who decide how we show up in the world, we no longer have the luxury of blaming others or our circumstances for our situation. This is where true empowerment comes from. The understanding that we are in control of our actions, reactions, and outcomes. It's easy to fall into a mindset of helplessness, to think that things are outside of our control. But this only limits our ability to affect change. When we take responsibility for our choices, we recognize that we have the power to alter our direction at any time. No matter how far we've gone down a particular road, we can always choose to turn around. The ability to choose is not just about having options. It's about recognizing that the direction of our life is largely in our hands. With this power comes the responsibility to make choices that are aligned with our higher purpose. Sometimes we are tempted to choose the easy path, the one that offers instant gratification or comfort. But real growth happens when we make choices that challenge us, that stretch us, and that push us outside of our comfort zone. Choosing what's comfortable in the moment may feel good, but it doesn't always lead to long-term fulfillment. The power of choice requires us to look beyond short-term pleasure and choose what will bring us true happiness, satisfaction, and growth in the long run. It means choosing discipline over distraction, focus over frivolity, and authenticity over approval. It's about making the difficult choices that require courage, trust, and faith in ourselves, knowing that they will lead us to a future that is more aligned with our true potential. The power of choice also means knowing that we are never stuck. So often people feel trapped by their circumstances, stuck in a job they hate, a relationship that isn't working, or a situation that feels impossible to change. But when we recognize that we always have a choice, we liberate ourselves from the illusion of being trapped. It doesn't matter how entrenched we are in a particular situation. There is always a way out, always a path forward. Sometimes the choice we need to make is to walk away from something that no longer serves us, to let go of the past, or to take a leap of faith into the unknown. When we embrace the power of choice, we give ourselves the freedom to break free from what's holding us back and step into a future that is ours to create. The power of choice enables us to cultivate a sense of inner peace and purpose. When we take responsibility for the choices we make, we stop relying on external circumstances to determine our happiness or success. We realize that happiness doesn't come from things or other people, but from the choices we make every day. By choosing to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our attitude, we begin to experience a deeper sense of peace. Life may throw challenges our way, but when we approach each challenge with the understanding that we have the power to choose how we respond, we find a sense of calm and clarity that cannot be shaken. The power of choice is the power to create a life that reflects who we truly are and what we are truly capable of. It's easy to let life pass by, to go through the motions, and to simply react to what comes our way. But when we recognize that every moment is an opportunity to choose, whether we choose to grow, to learn, to love, or to be our best selves, we tap into the vast potential that lies within us. Life is not something that just happens to us. It is something we create, one decision at a time. When we take control of our choices, we take control of our lives. And that is where true power lies. As you stand at the crossroads of your life, I urge you to take a moment and reflect on the path you're currently walking. Look around you. What decisions have brought you to this point? Are you moving forward with purpose, or are you simply drifting along with the tide, letting life happen to you instead of actively shaping it? The time for complacency has passed. The time for living a life that falls short of your true potential is over. It's time to rise, to take control, and to make choices that align with who you truly are and what you are meant to become. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because that moment will never come. Waiting for the right conditions, for things to line up perfectly, for the world to give you permission, it will only hold you back. The world is full of uncertainty, of challenges, of obstacles, but it is also full of possibilities. Every day presents a new opportunity to choose, to move in the direction of your dreams, and to embrace the life that you deserve. But this can only happen if you take responsibility for your choices and make decisions that align with your highest good. You are not a passive participant in your own life. The power to change, to grow, to transform, and to make a meaningful impact is already within you. It's time to activate that power. Choose today to stop settling for less than what you deserve. Choose to no longer allow fear, doubt, or external pressures to dictate your direction. Your future is not written in stone. It is written in the choices you make every day. And these choices, no matter how small they may seem, will shape your life in ways that will either propel you toward your greatness or keep you stuck in mediocrity. Ask yourself, what do you truly want? What is it that you want to create in your life? The answer to that question is your call to action. That answer is the driving force that will give you the courage to make difficult choices, to take risks, and to step into the unknown. Don't allow life to pass you by because you're waiting for the perfect conditions or because you're afraid of what lies ahead. The best time to start is now, because now is all you really have. So choose today. Choose to believe in your worth, in your dreams, and in your ability to create the life you've always wanted. Choose to take the first step, no matter how small, toward your purpose. Choose to live with intention to protect your purpose and to honor the power you have within you. The journey ahead may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. And the only way to truly live the life you are meant to live is to take control of the choices you make right now. This is your moment. Don't let it slip away. Make the decision to rise above the noise, to rise above the fears, and to rise into the greatness that is waiting for you. Your future is in your hands. Now go and create it. As we come to the close of this journey together, I want you to leave with one powerful truth etched into your heart. You have the power to shape your life. Every moment, every decision, every choice you make is a reflection of who you are and who you are becoming. The path you walk doesn't have to be determined by anyone else's expectations or the circumstances you were born into. It is determined by you. You hold the pen to your story, and it's time to write it with boldness, courage, and conviction. The world will always try to tell you what you should do, how you should live, and what you should settle for. But you have the final say. No one else can define your limits. No one else can limit your potential. Only you. You have the power to rise above the noise, to break free from the chains that hold you back, and to embrace the greatness that is already within you. So stand tall, choose with purpose, and live each day with the understanding that your decisions create your reality. There is no one more capable, more deserving, and more equipped to lead your life than you. Don't waste another second doubting your ability or second guessing your worth. The power to transform your life is in your hands. Own it, embrace it, and let your life be a testament to the incredible things that happen when you step into your true power and make intentional choices. This is your moment to rise. Make it count. The world is waiting for the person you are about to become. Now go out and live your truth with unstoppable confidence.